It's New Year's Day and we got a couple of little projects I want to try and get done today. Snow that I was worried about yesterday is actually coming tonight. So I got another day without snow on the ground here, or hardly any snow on the ground. But first project, it's not here and I need the white truck. And this Dodge is harder to start than my old Dodge was. I think it's got maybe some timing adjustments on the pump that need to be made or something, but it's never been a good starter like the old regular cab that I sold, which had 150,000 more miles on it than this truck. But that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll visit that issue at some point in warm weather. But for right now, I got to get it started, and I just tried wait to start preheat, and didn't do anything. For those of you guys who don't know, on these 5.9 liter Cummins diesels, there are no glow plugs on this engine. The way this diesel preheats is there is a airbox heater, which is what a lot of the big 18-wheeler engines use. They basically have a heating element, and during that wait to start cycle, that element is turned on and it's preheating the air. So what's theoretically supposed to happen is when the wait to start light goes out, and you start cranking it, that first gulp of air that the cylinders get is going to be that hot air from the preheater. But sometimes in really cold weather that's just not enough. So of course you've got a block heater. This is what this cord in the front here is for. If I had left this plugged in overnight, I probably would be able to start it right up right now, because the block heater does a really good job of keeping that engine block toasty warm. And what you got is you got a big piece of metal there that's a lot of thermal mass that when it gets really cold, it's going to want to keep that cold, so to speak. And when you warm it up, just like a cast iron stove, it's going to want to keep that warm for a little bit. So, make a long story short, we got to get this thing started. So we're going to cheat a little bit. And what I did was I opened up my air box for the filter housing, the air filter housing, and I'm going to run this heat gun and force some hot air right down there so that I can keep hot air running in there while it's cranking. Now the trick is, you can't crank the engine from here and keep this heat gun. If I just prop the heat gun up, then I run the risk of melting my housing if it shifts around in the wrong position. See if I can't come up with a better idea. If you're into watching cold starts, check out Elderly Iron's latest video there. He does a cold start on his I forget what it is. It's a big Detroit, and he's got it in an old water truck there, and that was actually, looked like he filmed that in the fall because he was talking about cleaning out the gutters, and it's interesting to see how those things cold start. I had the 353 Detroit on the old backhoe that we scrapped. I actually like that engine. Those are two-stroke diesels, so those suckers, they sound like they're really screaming even at what's not that high of an RPM. But alright, so we're going to go with the cold start here with I stuck a piece of galvanized or steel vent pipe there, so that'll be my little bit of a heat break so that I'm not putting that hot air from the heat gun directly onto the plastic. I don't plan on running it that long as soon as I get the thing to fire. Now I'll probably have to crank it still a bit because that air has to travel through the intercooler and all of the piping before it gets into the intake. So if I wanted to make this happen quicker, I could have undid the boot on the actual intake and put the air right into the intake, which if this doesn't work I might try that, but this should work. Alright, so here's the first project. I was supposed to get these out of here in the fall, and I never got around to it. Then they got snowed in. Now the snow melted again. And before the next round of snow comes, I want to get these out of here. This is, we're down at the ball field in my town that my sons play Little League at. And these bleachers were broken and thrown behind the fence here, and they got caution tape all over them. They don't want people sitting on them or climbing on them because they're worried about them getting hurt. So I inquired about what they intended to do with them, and they were more than happy to let me take these away. Now you might ask, why would I want them? Well, it's a no-brainer. The first thing is, even if I didn't have a use for this, the scrap metal value. This is all aluminum. This is all extruded aluminum. And it's strong because obviously people have to be able to sit on it, and you can stand on these. So I've got a project in the spring that I want to do with these. And I'm going to actually not tell you what that is right now and see if anybody can guess what my plans are going to be with this. But it's going to be a spring project, but I need to get these out of here because I said I was going to get them out of here. And if they're still here come spring, somebody else may take them away. Or worse yet, somebody might just come and steal them, because I'm surprised that they've been here this long, just because we get a lot of people going around stealing scrap metal as it is. So I got my crew with me today, and they like taking things apart, so we're going to put them to work taking things apart. Alright, so you guys, I know you guys have used my wrenches before to take things apart, but we're going to talk a little bit more about the wrenches, like different kinds of wrenches, okay? Alright, and I'll give you some quizzes, and you can tell me whether or not you think you know. Alright, so first wrench we'll look at is we'll look at this one here, okay? Alright, now if you look at this wrench, you see how it's got circles on the ends?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As opposed to this wrench, which has an opening on the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one I could slide on, if that was a nut or a bolt, I could slide this on, right? And then take it off and slide it on again this way, right?
Yeah.
And this one I have to put it over the bolt like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so this is called a closed end. Closed end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what do you think this is?
Open end.
Very good. This is an open end wrench. And then, if you notice, for instance,
How about
hold on. All right, so this is an open end wrench. It's got one at each end, two different sizes, right? And then some of them have, like this one here, okay? This one has, what's it have on that end?
Closed end and then open.
Open on one end, closed on the other. So it's got one of each. They're both the same size. You see, if it's going to have one of each on, closed and open, then it'll be the same size, 5/8 of an inch. There's a fraction, right? Okay, if we take an inch and we divide it into 8 little pieces, this is 5 out of those 8 little pieces is what size this is. Okay? And then, of course, we have metric. That's millimeters. That's measured in millimeters. But we're not going to deal with metric today. All right, so when it's got one on each end like that, open and closed, we call this a combination wrench. Combination, because it's a combination of the two. It's half this kind and half this kind. And then you get all different other kinds of wrenches, like this one here. You see how this one's almost closed, but not quite?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is called a tubing fitting wrench, or a tubing wrench. This is specially designed so that this little narrow part, this little narrow opening can go over a pipe and then slide down where the pipe goes into a fitting, okay? I can't show you one of those because we're not going to deal with that today, but that's what that's for. This one here is an interesting one. This isn't a combination wrench. It's an open wrench, open end on one, and it's a socket on the other.
That's cool.
That's a nice one, yeah, okay?
That's very useful. What
Then
about
we have
one?
this. This is a combination wrench. It's open on one end,
And
then it's got this on the other. This is called a gear wrench
a gear wrench.
because it's got a ratchet built into it.
Oh, so you can go like that?
Yes, like a ratchet, okay?
I remember that. How about that one?
This one?
No.
All right, this is kind of a cheap wrench, but what's nice about this wrench is because of the way it is, this will fit a whole bunch of different sizes. So if you didn't have all of these different size wrenches and you just had this one wrench, it would fit a whole bunch of different nuts, okay? Different size nuts and bolts. But it's not, if your bolts are really rusted or tight, this is not a good one to use because it doesn't work really well, okay?
Yeah.
Same thing with this. This is called an adjustable wrench, okay? This is an adjustable wrench. You could turn this little wheel here and you could change this to any size you want. all the way up to a, pretty big,
Mm-hmm.
and then pretty small. Now again, if you've only got one wrench to work with, that might be a good choice because it'll fit a whole bunch of different sizes. But again, this has a tendency to not tighten as well as the closed end wrench. Okay? Then there's another gear wrench. Okay, then we have our ratchets. And the ratchets we use with sockets. Okay, so we got our sockets over here. We got deep sockets like these. Okay, and short sockets. These are like the regular standard size sockets. Okay, we got multiple sizes of sockets. So the beauty of a ratchet is if you have the room to get one on there onto your bolt, this is going to go right. It's going to be quicker, faster. Yeah, fast. It's ratcheting.
Yeah.
So that's for speed. So a lot of mechanics are going to use when they're working on cars and engines and stuff. They're going to use that, or what they before they invented them. This is all they had for ratcheting. Then they invented this gear wrench I was talking about. Okay, so this ratchets too. All right. This can go onto a socket, right? It's got the thing to go into a socket, but doesn't ratchet at all. This is called a breaker bar. This is a small one, okay? They make really big ones. This, what do you think you would use this for? Go ahead, Peter, tell me.
You could use it to get a bolt out, like one of these out.
Well, yeah, you put the socket on there and you would get a bolt out, but why not just use this? When would I use this instead of...
If it's a hard bolt?
If it's very tight, yes. The reason why is this is much stronger, okay? This kind of a ratchet, if we would have put a lot of force on this, we might break, well, not, hopefully not, but it might break the mechanism in here, okay? So this is designed to take a lot more force. So this one, I can even put a thin piece of pipe on here and make it longer, okay? Aiden, what kind of a simple machine do you think this is when I put this on and I make a lever, right? And with a lever, I can get a lot more torque. Torque is the force of rotation, of turning something. That's torque, okay?
And
so
here there's gears, right?
Yeah, there's a little mechanism inside there. There's not really, what it is it's got teeth on the outside of it, and it's got a little mechanism in there that makes it so that it will turn in one direction and not go in the other direction. This one has a little switch to switch directions, okay? But a lot of these with the little switches break. So a lot of the companies got rid of the switch and they just made them like this. And what do I got to do to reverse direction with this one?
You have to go the opposite
No, what do I do with this one?
You flip it up.
Flip it over. That's all. Piece of cake. The drawback to that is, if I look at it from that edge, you'll see it's straight.
Yeah.
Okay? What's nice about this one is it's got an angle to it. You see the angle?
Yeah.
So what's nice is when I put this down flat, you see I got room for my fingers to get underneath there. But if I turn this one over, now it's you see, it doesn't work. Okay?
Yep.
So that's the deal with the wrenches. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let you guys pick whatever wrenches and sockets and whatever you want, and we're going to get to work. We're going to take this off. Now listen, I want you to do this in a specific order. So what we're going to do first is we want to get all of these benches off of the frame.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look underneath there, you're going to see there are little bolts hanging down with nuts on them. Okay?
I'm going to do this.
You see them? Do whatever you want. But you got to get those off. So you're going to make sure you get the right size wrenches or sockets. And the important thing is, if you put a tool down because you don't want to use it,
I'm using this.
you bring it back over here.
I have a question. Well, can you try to flip this over so we can have an easier way, because I can't really see them.
No. You're going to do that. That's heavy enough, we're not going to flip it over. Listen, the longer wrenches like this, the ones with the long handles, they're going to give you more leverage, okay? They're longer levers. They're a better simple machine for getting the tight ones off.
Okay.
All right?
Get to work.
Get to work. That's right.
You gonna do some, Daddy?
Huh?
You gonna do some too?
Yeah, I'm gonna do what they call supervise.
Oh.
Okay.
You gonna be the camera?
Yeah, well, no.
Daddy, can I rip this
It's called the boss man. Huh? If it's in the way, yeah. We don't want to take the plastic off all over them. We're gonna make sure that's all gonna be trash. We take that with us. We throw it away so it doesn't blow all over the field and make a mess. Alright, all strapped up, loaded, ready to go. Hanging out quite a bit, but we don't have that far of a distance to go. Otherwise I'd make sure I had an orange flag on the end of that.